Hey guys, and welcome back to Leah's Lifestyle. Today we're doing another coding practice. Alright, so we finally figured out yesterday where all the coding stuff was at that I was doing, but I didn't particularly find the section in which I was at. So we were starting a new section just because I felt like it was like a good next step, and that's kind of how like these go. You can kind of pick like your section and like work your way down, and as long as you work from top to bottom, you tend to be good. I did start trying to learn how to make a calculator, but got bored with that and didn't really fully understand it and didn't really want to make my own one. So now we're going to be learning about websites. And we were in the middle of watching the intros and listening to the intros and everything. So we will go back to that. And once I get it up, I'll open up my screen so you guys can see what I'm doing. Yeah, we only had one more to work on here. Here it is. Okay. Let's watch and listen.
To make it through something as rigorous as the free CodeCamp curriculum, you'll need to not only work hard, you'll need to work smart.
Yeah.
Over the years, I've talked with thousands of people who've learned to code and gotten developer jobs. Here are some tips that have worked well for them. Tip number 1, pace yourself. Learning to code is a marathon, not a sprint. Remember that it's better to code 30 minutes every day of the week than to try and cram all your learning into one day.
Yeah.
This is thanks to the important role that sleep plays in learning. The free CodeCamp curriculum already incorporates all those concepts I mentioned earlier: spaced repetition, interleaving practice, active recall. All you need to do is sit down and work through the curriculum consistently every day. This is easier said than done. Most people who start this curriculum will at some point stop. Hopefully, some of those people will come back and finish in the future. But let's talk about you. We want you to finish what you start. And the best advice I have is to remember to pace yourself. Tip number 2, routine is your friend. If you can make a habit of waking up 30 minutes earlier every day, you can get in the coding session before you go to work. After a few weeks of doing this, it just becomes part of your routine. You don't really have to think too much about it or expend any additional willpower. It's just something that you do. Now, I understand that you're probably busy. I wish I could tell you there was just some magic book that you could buy, and that would be enough. The reason buying a book feels so good is it feels like you're also buying the time to read it. But there's no magic involved in learning code. You've got to put in the time. You've got to put in the reps at the keyboard. I'll tell you this: if you can code for even 30 minutes a day, you're going to make serious gains over the course of the year. Tip number 3, use the Pomodoro technique. Pomodoro is the Italian word for tomato. In Italy, they have these tomato-shaped clocks that you set for 25 minutes. Sitting down to code isn't easy. It takes willpower. So to make it easier to sit down and start that coding, just tell yourself that you're only going to code for 25 minutes. Set a timer. Then, once you've finished 25 minutes, you can take a break. By this point, you may be so deep into your coding session that you don't even need to take a break. The Pomodoro technique makes...
I didn't let it finish, but it's just a intro. Okay. So, basic HTML. Oh, 75%. Wow. What is that? Why does it say I'm 75% through? Building a cat photo app. I was in the middle of this. This is it. This is the section I was in. But this is... In this lecture video, you will be introduced to HTML, the hypertext markup language, a markup language for creating web pages. You will learn about HTML's role in the web, the basic syntax, and what HTML attributes are. What is HTML and what role does it play in the web? Oh, they're like little videos you can watch. Okay, let me just, hold on. Thank you. These are things that I will watch probably on my own because they're just videos. So I want the information. Video, 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 video. Yeah. So these are just informational videos. Oh, but I need to answer. Okay, so we will do them together because that is the next section. So this one needs to be finished, which is the lecture. I started the workshop before I even... And apparently I skipped one? Because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11. And then I don't know how I did that. Maybe I got this one wrong or something. Anyways, like 75% done with the workshop, but I didn't do any of the other stuff. So yeah, let's go through the lecture. How long are these videos?
What is HTML and what role does it play on the web? HTML, which stands for Hypertext Markup Language, is a markup language for creating web pages. When you visit a website and see content like paragraphs, headings, links, images, and videos, that's HTML. HTML represents the content
Hypertext
and structure
markup
of a web page
language.
through the use of elements. Here's an example of a paragraph element. Most elements will have an opening tag and a closing tag. Sometimes those tags are referred to as start and end tags. In between these two tags, you'll have the content. This content can be text or other HTML elements.
Which I knew.
Opening and closing tags start with a left angle bracket
and these are things that I kind of learned through like the kids games, and then like the little bit that I was knowing like from when I was trying to create the calculator too.
A right angle bracket with the tag name placed between these angle brackets. Here's a closer look at just the opening and closing paragraph tags.
Yeah.
What distinguishes an opening tag from a closing tag?
Yeah, it's that backslash right there for the closing tag.
Forward slash.
Sorry.
The left angle bracket in a closing
Forward,
tag.
back.
Some HTML elements do not have a closing tag. These are known as void elements. Here's an example of an
The
image
void.
element, which is a
Yeah.
element. Notice that this
I've noticed
element
that.
does not have the closing tag, and it does not have any content. Void
Right.
elements cannot have any content and only have a start tag. If you want to display an image, you'll need to include a couple of attributes inside your image element. An attribute is a special value used to adjust the behavior for an HTML element. Here's an example of an image element with a SRC or source attribute. The source attribute is used to specify the location for that image.
Okay.
Image elements, it's good practice to include
That makes sense. So it's like the image source. Which of the values is a valid attribute? None of these, because that bold makes it bold. Closing is for this, and I don't know what this is yet. But let's listen to the rest of this before we.
include another attribute called the alt attribute. Here's an example of an image element with the source and alt attributes.
Yes, and I've done
The alt
both of those
attribute
now.
is used to provide short descriptive text for images.
And then the alt
In
is
this
for
case, the descriptive text is a cat sleeping in the grass.
yeah.
So you might be wondering if HTML by itself is enough to build a website. Well, the answer is it depends. If
Mhm.
you're building a small practice project that only displays text and images, HTML
Yes.
alone might be sufficient. However, if you're creating a modern professional website, you'll need to have HTML, CSS, and JavaScript.
Okay.
HTML is for the content and structure.
3
CSS is for the
languages.
styling, and JavaScript is for adding interactivity to your web pages.
CSS
A good analogy
is
for this to
styling.
compare HTML, CSS, and
What was
JavaScript.
what is
CSS
JavaScript for?
styling, and JavaScript is for adding interactivity to your web pages.
So like being, but that's weird because like for HTML you can make it so that way you can click on the links and it will bring you to the thing. So I wonder if it's like better interactivity where it's just like more smooth and clean.
A good
Pretty.
analogy for this is to compare HTML, CSS, and JavaScript with a complete building. HTML represents the blocks,
Okay.
concrete, and irons that make up the walls.
Okay.
It's the foundation that makes the building strong.
Got it.
CSS represents the interior and exterior design that makes the house look beautiful.
Okay.
JavaScript represents the electrical and water system that ensures uninterrupted access to water and electricity.
Got it. See, this would have been helpful. Okay. Wait, is that this one? Oh, it is. Okay, so it's just going to go from one to the next one. I don't have to actually click on them. All right. Let's see what I know. Which of the following examples of a Boolean attribute? A Boolean attribute? I don't know what that means. What is the role of an attribute in HTML? Should we change this? Attributes add JavaScript functionality. I think it might be changes the size of an element. Or this one. Which of the following is correct syntax for the Boolean attribute? I don't think I've learned this Boolean stuff, so that's going to be something we're going to learn right now.
An attribute is a value placed inside the opening tag of an HTML element. Attributes provide additional.
An attribute is a value placed inside the opening tag of an HTML element. Okay. Attributes provide additional information about the element or specifically how the element should
Which
behave.
information about the element or specify how the element should behave. Here is the basic
Yeah,
syntax
okay.
of an attribute. The attribute name is followed by an equal sign and a value in quotes.
Element,
The value can be a string or a number depending on the attribute. Let's take a
attribute,
look at a few examples
value.
of common HTML attributes.
Okay. Element, attribute, value. So the attribute is the little thing inside. I think it might be this one. No, because then there's... But this doesn't have that at all. It just has the ones in front and back. Interesting. Okay, let's continue.
The first example is the href attribute, which is used to specify the URL of a link. Without this attribute, the link would not work because there would be no destination URL. So you must include this href attribute to make the link functional.
Okay.
Other common attributes are the src or source and the alt or alternative
Yeah, see, look, none of these have the slash. Where's the slash?
attribute, which is used here to specify the source of an image and provide alternative descriptive text for the image respectively. Similar to the href attribute, the src attribute is required because it specifies the image file to be displayed. The alt attribute is not required but is recommended
Displayed.
for accessibility purposes.
And then that's what it
Accessibility
says.
makes sure that everyone
Yeah, so this is going to say a beautiful image. And then when you click on it, this will be the image.
including those with disabilities, can use and understand things like websites, apps, and physical spaces. You will learn more about accessibility in the upcoming lectures. Some attributes are a little unique with their syntax, like the checked attribute shown here. In the following example, we have an input element with a type attribute set to checkbox. Inputs are used to collect data from users, and the type attribute specifies the type of input. In this case, the input is a checkbox. You will learn more about how inputs work in the upcoming lectures. The checked attribute is used to specify that the checkbox should be checked by default like this. The check attribute does not require a value. If it is present, the checkbox will be checked by default. If the attribute is not present, the checkbox will be unchecked. This is known as a Boolean attribute.
Okay. So input type checkbox checked. Yeah. And
You will
as
learn more about Booleans in general when you get to the JavaScript section. There are several common Boolean attributes you will encounter in HTML, such as disabled, read-only, and required. These attributes are used to specify the state of an element, such as whether it is disabled, read-only, or, you guessed it, required. HTML has many attributes that can be used to customize the behavior and appearance of elements on a web page. Understanding how to use attributes is essential for creating interactive and accessible web content. Over the
Makes
next few
sense.
lectures, you will learn about more HTML attributes and how to use them effectively in your web development projects.
which of the following is an example of Boolean attribute? But there's no input. And the attribute would be like type. What? That makes no sense. There was nothing discussed about any of those. The only one discussed was the SRC. That makes absolutely no sense. But okay, sure, whatever that Alright.
Let's learn about the link element and how to use it to link to external style sheets.
Wait, let's see if I know anything. What is the role of a link element? It specifics the content type of the linked resource. It determines the visibility of the linked resource. It defines the font size. It's this one. What is the role of the real attribute inside the link element? I don't know. What is favicon? I don't know. So things to learn. Here we go.
The link element is used to link external resources like starter sheets and site icons. Here is the basic syntax.
It's to link external resources.
Thanks for using the link element for an external CSS file. The rel attribute is used to specify the relationship between the linked resource and the HTML document.
Okay.
In this situation, we need to specify that this linked resource is the style sheet. It is considered best practice to separate HTML and CSS in different files. Developers will use the link element for their external CSS file instead of writing everything in the HTML document. The href attribute is used to specify the location of the URL for the external resource. The dot followed by a
Do I have it too fast? I don't even have it going that fast.
instead of writing everything in the HTML document. The href attribute is used to specify the location of the URL for the external resource. The dot followed by a / in the example tells the computer to look in the current folder or directory for the styles.css file. The link element should be placed inside the head element as seen in the following example. Oftentimes, you will see multiple link elements inside a professional code base that link to different style sheets, fonts, and even icons. Here is an example of using the link element to link to an external Google font called.
What is the role of real attributes inside the link element? It is used to indicate the language of the link document. It is used to specify the relationship between the resources of the HTML. I feel like it's relationship, but it also might be the language because pre-connect. Yeah, it might be this one.
Playwright Cuba. Google Fonts are a set of free and open source custom fonts that you can use inside any project. You can choose which fonts you would like to use, and Google will provide you with the necessary HTML and CSS code. In this example, the pre-connect value for the rel attribute tells the browser to create an early connection to the value specified in the href attribute. This is done to speed up loading times for these external resources. Another common use case for the link element is to link to icons. Here is an example of linking to a favicon. A favicon, which is short for favorite icon, is a small icon typically displayed in the browser tab next to the site.
Okay, let's see. Yeah. There we go. I was right the first time. That's what happens when you adjust things. And advertisement, because it's free and they gotta make their money, and I totally understand that. And a water break. Lecture is definitely not my favorite part, but I am getting some good information from this that I don't think I learned while trying to figure out the other thing.
Let's learn about the HTML boilerplate. What is
Let's see what we know. Where would you set the character encoding for your page? Character coding. Probably in this. Where would you set the language for your page? I don't know. What purpose does boilerplate serve? Anyways, HTML boilerplate. An HTML boilerplate is like a ready-made template for your web page. Cool. Allows you to get started writing the content of your page faster, ensures you're not missing such an element, provides starting structure. Yes, all of that. First thing, learned.
It's like a ready-made template for your web pages.
Okay.
Think of it as the foundations of a house.
Mm-hmm.
A boilerplate includes the basic structure and essential elements every HTML document needs. It saves you time and helps ensure your pages are set up properly. Let's read down the key parts of an HTML boilerplate. First, there is the doc type declaration. It tells the browser which version of HTML you're using. Next comes the HTML tag. This This wraps around all of your content and can specify the language of your page.
Yeah.
Inside the HTML tag, you'll find two main sections, a head and a body. The head section contains important behind-the-scenes information. Your site's metadata, contained in meta elements, has details about things like character encoding and how websites like Twitter should preview your
Which I was right.
Your site title, found in the title element, determines the text that appears in the browser tab or window. Finally, you'll typically link your page's style sheet and script files in the head section using link elements. The body section is where all your content goes. This is what visitors actually see on your web page. Now, why is boilerplate important? It ensures your pages are structured correctly and work well across different browsers. Using a boilerplate helps you avoid common mistakes and follow best practices. It's a great starting point.
I knew the language went at the beginning, but I didn't realize that that's where it needed to go.
Remember, you can customize your own boilerplate to fit your needs. As you gain experience, you might add your own preferred elements or meta tags. As you continue to improve your personal boilerplate, you'll find that it saves you time when starting new projects. Next time you start a new HTML file, consider using a boilerplate. It will definitely give you a solid foundation to build on.
But it is in the head. A head element in the oh. There. Whoops. I didn't fully read that. That's my bad. I knew I had the right answer in my head. I did not answer it properly though. Let's see. Which attribute is used to set the UTF-8 character encoding in the HTML document? I don't know. What is character encoding? I don't know. How many bits are inside a byte? 8? I want to go with 8. If it's not 8, I'm going to be very sad.
Why is UTF-8 character encoding and why is it needed? UTF-8 or UCS transformation format 8 is a standardized character encoding widely used on the web.
Okay. UTF-8 or UCS transformation format 8 is a standard character coding widely used on the web. What attributes set? I don't know, yeah. But
used on the web. Character encoding is the method computers use to store characters as data.
Okay.
Essentially, all text on a web page is a sequence of characters stored as one or more bytes. In computing, a byte is a unit of data consisting of 8 bits or binary digits. UTF-8 supports every character in the Unicode character set, and this includes characters and symbols from all writing systems, languages, and technical symbols too. By setting the character encoding to UTF-8, it will ensure that the accident E character is displayed correctly on the page. For each new project you create, you should include this meta element with a child set attribute set to UTF-8.
okay. It might be 1. But I was right. Hey. Okay. Lecture is done. Go lecture. Go lecture. Okay, workshop. What is this? Add the word see more before the anchor element in our gallery after the anchor element. And now it's just going to tell me. Oh, that's the whole anchor element. This is the whole anchor element. Yeah, this is what I remember doing. But that's what I have. Like, I would literally copy this. There. Okay. I don't know what I did wrong in the one I had before. Let's refresh this, just see what happens. It's saying. But then this is not saying. Okay. So that's where we were at. I don't know how it let me move on from that one. I really don't. That was weird. Okay. This is where we were at when I left. We found the spot, folks. We found it. Go us. Go us. It only took me a few days. Okay. Step 35. The footer element is used to define a footer for a document or a section. A footer typically contains information about the author of the document, copyright data, links to terms of use, contact information, and more. After the main element, add a footer element. So after this, you want me to add a footer? Is that what's happening? But probably like that. Your footer element should have an open tag. Open tags. Oh, really? Your footer element should have closing tag. Closing tags have. But I did. Okay. It's not really giving me any. I'm sure from like whatever I was working on before, they probably told me what a footer was. Does it just want me to do this? Hold on. Is that what it wants me to do? Let's just let it do that then. Tell me. That's what I did. That's exactly what I did. Is that now? Ah, okay. It needs both. Like that. Okay. Step 36. Next, a P element with the next no copyright freecodecamp.org with the footer element. Next, a P element. Let me see. This is a P element. So under this, within this, a P element with text. Let me just see what these P elements. P. Yep, I could just have the text within the footer element. Copy. Paste. And then I think you do a P after? Yeah, you do a P after. Okay. Did it. And add. That's how you know it's... Hi, Callie. How you doing? I don't have my chat stuff up on. Sorry if I missed you. Trying to focus on educating myself. Okay. Step 37. Turn the existing freecodecamp.org text into a link by enclosing it in the anchor A element. The href attribute should be set to ht whatever. Okay. I asked ChatGPT what creature I would be after telling it I have good hearing and don't get sick often, and it told me a vampire. Sounds about right. Okay, an A element, which I think this is the A element. Href, and then it wants this. It wants this as an A element. And okay. Wait. Equal sign. Equal quote. Does the A element need an ending? I think it's like, and then like that. Let's see. Yeah. No. What about like that? No. Your anchor A element should have href attribute. Yeah, I got that. Oh, I know I have a typo, but I'm kind of looking at this. That might help. But this doesn't show the same. There we go. Which makes me feel like it should be like that, but it's not. It should be A, yeah. There's a space here. the href, the thing, then there's words, and then there's this. That's why I felt like it should be like that. There's a space here between these two. But also, there was this guy here. But I did that. I did that. How did I admit it? It's right there. Let's see if anyone's posted something about it. Alright, this is 37. These damn hiccups today. Yeah, I've also done that. Where's yours? Yeah, that's how I have it. How does this person have their... Like, so maybe it's that this is supposed to be here. Is that what it wants? No. That's not what it wants. It says turn the existing one in, and so like it was like no copyright, and then this. So I feel like that should be forward. backslash AP no cave. So it wants all of this here. Turn the existing. Existing, I feel like, means this text right here into a link by enclosing it in an anchor A. But I don't feel like it actually wants that. I feel like it wants me to make... Because I tried to do that. I tried to make it that out of the anchor, and that did not work. What is it? It's, yeah, here. Right? It's equal sign. This is just gonna be the same thing as this. Does this person have it written differently? Was that what I was missing? But I think I put those in there too. Okay. So what? This? supposed to be here. I think you have to have the space between the A and the A. Yeah. It does. Oh. Yeah, I see. But you just said to put that there. Okay, you can't continuously go back and forth between whether or not it should have an HTTPS on it, and then go back and be like, the link should be freecodecamp. Is it freecodecamp.org, or is it https dot / www.free. Like you can't have both. It's one or the other. There is no other choice. Like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But it is. That's what he has in there. There is no spaces. But I did. Like, that's the fucking problem. Look. Copy. Paste. Hold on. Angelina, hi. I'm good, trying to learn some coding. I just don't understand what I'm doing wrong, and like it doesn't feel like anyone's giving the answer. Like they're not giving the answer. Like, okay, if you, like, I'm doing all the things you're saying to do, but none of them are doing what you're saying it should do. So how would you fucking explain it? How would you just fucking explain it? How hard is that? How hard is that? Avoid extra spaces inside the A's. There is no extra spaces. Why do you keep saying that? You say that, but then up here specifically say that it should be attributed with the HTTPS. Like, this, it can't be both. It has, like, you have to pick one. There's no extra spaces. I have the thing in here. When it's not like this, it tells me to put it like that. To put it like that. So it is either like that or it is not like that. There is no other choice. And I don't, like, you can't. Okay, we're going to ask Google. We're going to ask Google. Because this makes no sense. Copy. All right, Google. Do your thing. Let's just say you guys had your chance. Give me Google. Wait. Is that all I was missing? But these don't have them, do they? Yeah, it's open. In the hereafter ones, they're open. Whatever. Let's just see. I'm pretty sure it has to be open. I'm pretty sure this has to be open. Yeah. The text link should be... Okay, we're gonna get rid of no copyright. Let's just copy this. If it's not right, I don't know what else to do. What was different? And here it goes. Asked me to do the same bullshit that I keep saying is not right. Okay, so what was I doing wrong? It was just this. Because all of this looks the same. That looks the same. So it's that there was a space and this and a space that... Why was it telling me that there was something wrong with the freecodecamp.org part when that was not the part that was incorrect? That makes no sense. Fail. Fail on teaching. Fail on ability to be able to tell people what is actually wrong. Fail, fail, fail. It was not clear what it was asking. Fail. Fail, fail, fail. You failed. Google wins. That's what happens. Go Google. Free.org. Failed. I learned more off Google in 2 seconds than I did for the last 15 minutes trying to do it by myself. Okay. Step 38. Notice that everything you've added to the page so far is inside the body element. All page content elements that should be rendered to the page go inside the body element. However, other important information goes inside the head element. The head element is used to contain metadata about the document, such as its title, links to style sheets, and scripts. Metadata is information about the page that isn't displayed directly on the page. Add a head element above the body. Okay, so this... Well, can I just... Yeah, but I'm going to go back on that. Okay. Is this one of the ones where it wants, like... two? Like that? Okay. I think we always need two, I guess. That's something I need to remember when I'm making these, is that I need a beginning and an end. Okay. Step 39. The title element determines what browsers show in the title bar or tab for the page. Add a title element within the head element using the text below. Cat photo app. Add a title. So what? And then... Okay. Step 40. Notice the entire contents of the page are nestled within an HTML element. The HTML element is a root element of the HTML page and wraps all content on the page. You can also specify the language of your page by adding the lang attribute to the HTML element. Add the lang attribute to the value en to the operating HTML tag to specify that the language of the page is English. Okay. Like that. Let's see what it brings up. Let's see here. Eep. Okay. Well, this is where we're at. I've been doing this apparently for an hour. I should take a break, go for a walk, come back. Anyways, for my YouTubey friends, don't forget to like, share, insist, scribble, and comment. What is the most frustrating thing about it for you for learning coding? Because for me, it's the way they say things, because that was not very clear. But I will see you guys tomorrow, and talk to you soon. Bye.